Well, hello everybody. Gonna do another Uber run. I did one. Well, I've done a few in the past few weeks, but I'm going to do one. The one I last one I recorded was on the PTR, just to test out their mercenary with the bow that had concentration. I don't even remember which one it is now. Uh, Obviously the mercenaries, everyone knows, don't last anyway. So it wasn't much of a test since she just died. I was curious how the concentration would affect it. Anyway, and if a bow would be better than um, the Act 2 melee character. So, yeah, I've got some keys. I'm going to run another Diablo, or I mean Uber run, sorry. And I figured I'd record it for anyone who wants to just kind of see how it all works. First off, well, let's see. I'll show you the Smiter. Using a Grief, 375.34, a COH, a G-Face with a Ith rune in it. The reason why I use that is because of the damage goes to mana. I tested this out in single player before, and with really low gear, I've noticed this will keep me alive, or at least not get one-shotted by Mephisto. I've got High Lords, a Hawes, Optaz with a UM, Gore Riders. I'm using a Dwarf Star, Thunder Gods, Ravenfrost. It's a perfect Ravenfrost. Dracula's Grasp. And then these are all pretty much resist charms. I'm not going to show every single one, but I do have one combat skill, and I have an Annihilus. I don't keep a torch when I do the runs. That just makes it so I don't have to come back to town and get rid of it to pick it up. I do carry portal scrolls. So I've got a CTA here, a 524, and just a low spirit just for the skills to add to the CTA. Strength. Here's the strength. I've got dexterity for max block, which it's not on. So, yep, should be max block when I hit the skills. And then the rest into vitality, none into energy. So you can see here my fire resistance is at 275. Lightning 324. Cold 241. Poison 220. And then I'll try it, if I can remember, I'll try to hit the C screen or the character screen when I'm at Mephisto, just so you can see how low it drops. I believe that I still have max lightning with Mephisto's conviction, so resistance is not an issue. The mercenary, I usually don't care about bringing him with, but he'll die pretty soon no matter when I start anyway. He's just on because I had him earlier. Anyway, using an Ethereal, Crown of Thieves, and Obedience. Like I said, and he's a Might Merc. But like I said, I'm not really too worried about the mercenary because he'll die pretty quick when we get started. So I think that's everything. Just for people who may not know, you need 3 keys to create a portal. There's 3 different portals for 1 body part each: brain, horn, and eye. And each one of these you get, so the terror you get from Countess Hell, hate you get from Summoner Hell, destruction you get from Neelatok Hell. So, yeah, I think we're pretty much ready to go. So, let's see. I'm actually not in a game I want to be in. The other thing is you want to be in a game that you make yourself. Because if anything goes wrong, get kicked or whatever, or you have to leave and come back in, basically your game's lost if you're just in, your self-created or whatever you want to call that. So yeah, so you'll want to create a hell game. So that you can go in and out if need be, or if you need help. That's a lot easier for someone to come help you if they're not on friends list. So yeah, I think we're good to go here. Let's get this into here and start making some portals. Another thing, when you're making portals, you want to make sure that they're spread apart, because if you overlay them over top of each other, you will not be able to get into whichever one can't be seen. So you got to make sure they're spread out. And yes, you always want to do 3 at a time, because you never know which one's going to spawn. So you always want to do them together. So I think that's it for that. I believe we're ready to go. So, Forgotten Sand, I usually do it in this order. I usually do Forgotten Sands, and I do the Furnace, then I do Matrons. I think that's pretty common. Thing is, with Forgotten Sands, 99% of the time, that's annoying. 99% of the time, Duriel is right at the portal or waypoint. So I usually go in here to proc my battle orders. I'm also Zeal. I didn't really show the skill tree. Personally, this is how I do it, and I've always liked this. It works well for me. I always max. I do the Smiter build, the max Holy Shield, max Smite, max Fanaticism. And then I actually put 1 into Zeal, and then I max Sacrifice, because Sacrifice actually gives more damage to Zeal than if you put it all into Zeal. And then I always put 1 into Vigor, just so I can run around a little quicker. I actually don't use Charge. I know a lot of people use Charge. I don't use it. And it's probably more of just, I'm not used to it. Not that great at using it. So I don't use it. And then the rest of my skill points. So at that point, you still have skills to use. And I'm only 90. And you'll have extra skills to use. And that's why I do the Zeal as well. I personally have never used Salvation. I know some people like it, but I've never used it. So my extra skill points, what I like to do is, you see here on the base, I'll put in 8, because that gives you 4 hard points into, or passive, whatever it's called, into your lightning resistance. So you can see here it's 89. That's because I have High Lords, which gives you, is it High Lords that gives it, or is it Thunder Gods? Thunder Gods gives you the 10 plus, so that would be 85. But then I have the extra 4 points from the lightning, resist lightning. And then I put the rest into fire, so I've got 2 in there. So that's 1 extra into fire. So you have 76 instead of 75. So anyway, all the technicalities aside, I believe now we are ready. Let me go proc that again. And let's go kill Duriel. He should be right here. Yep. So he should be here, but I've gone in here before and I've had to run all around the sands to try to find him. But 99% of the time, this is where he's at, which is nice. And I don't know if that's a resurrected thing, because before, I know... wow, that's really loud. Before, you would always have to go search for him. So I thought that I had the sound turned down. But it sounds like it's pretty high, but that's pretty low. I'm hoping you guys can hear me. So yeah, that's it. That's Duriel. Go ahead and throw that in the cube. Next is Furnace. Furnace, you usually have a place to proc. Wait, he didn't switch, did he? Nope, he sure didn't. You always want to have a different weapon so that when you switch from CTA, you can tell. So, this is where I use my Zeal, because Smite to me is really slow. It's powerful, but it's slow, and it's like just a one monster thing at a time. And so I like to use Zeal for this reason. That helps it go a little quicker. Like I said, I don't have Telly or charge, so I just do this. So in my headphones, it sounds really loud. I don't know why it sounds so loud. It's a little better. Keep wanting to save and exit. My battle orders isn't very high, so I have to make sure it's procced a lot. Don't want it running out, you know? Yeah, I go pretty slow. Not a speedrunner or anything. I like to take it easy, make sure I'm safe. I don't like dying. So it's a little slower than a lot of other people you'll see doing Ubers. But yeah, I'd just rather be safe than sorry. But at least, and there's Iswal. So I'll go ahead and switch it back to Smite. Just maybe some Zeal here to kill these guys behind me. And there's Iswal. Simple. And this one's usually the harder one, the Matron's Den. These guys are pretty tough in here. And I want to say Andariel, but it's Lilith, right? She's pretty tough, so... Well, these bows, man, they're tough. with the mixture of the bows and the succubuses, they can really tear you apart pretty quickly. I personally don't know if Lilith is in a specific spot ever, so I just kind of run around till I find her. It's not like a Countess run, as far as I'm aware, even though it looks like it's the same place. But as far as I know, it's not the same map setup. This is where it gets hairy when they proc that amp damage on you, man. They can really hit you hard. I'm actually surprised my mercenaries survived this long. So even if you're just in hell, those bows can be really tough. Oh, and there she is. Yeah, see, she hits really hard. Gotta proc life tap as soon as you can. Yeah, see, my mercenary's already dead. But Lilith's pretty simple. I mean, if you got the right gear, most of these guys are pretty easy to kill. So, there's that. Easy mode. So, and I will need to heal that poison. Probably last another 15-20 minutes, I'll bet. Okay. So we've now gotten all the body parts. And we can make... so this is Uber Tristrum. We'll go in there and you'll have Mephisto in there. Uber Mephisto, Uber Diablo, and Uber Baal. So you got the horn, brain, and eye. So I like to put it up here so it's away from these portals. And there we go. Let's get our cube. Get our charms back. Yeah. And we're on our way. So probably need smite first. So this is the typical way I usually go. I go around the edge here to this building and try to get Mephisto to come and follow me away from all the others. Here's he hasn't procced. So I killed him before he even procced Conviction, which is not very common. So we didn't get to really see how low it goes. But it's my lightning, I believe, is maxed out. So yeah. That was Mephisto. He's not usually that easy. That was actually super easy. And like I said, he didn't even have time to proc his Conviction. So now I try to get I know a lot of people go a different way to get Baal or Diablo to come out, but I like to get Diablo to come chase me. There we go. And he's actually pretty easy, but he's why you need, from what I've noticed, he's why you need open wounds on something in your gear, because in single player, when I was testing these out before in single player, when I used to play it before Resurrected, without open wounds, I sat there and you could hit him. Sometimes I would go for 10 minutes and just hitting him. Without open wounds, it won't kill him. Because as far as I understand, Crushing Blow only does a percentage to their health. So when it gets down to a certain amount, it's not going to kill him. And you don't do enough damage to kill him all the way. So open wounds, what it does is it creates basically a bleed effect, which helps his health to continuously drain as you're hitting him. And that's what kills him. And, maybe in the comments people can add if I'm incorrect or correct or if it's off a little bit, but that's how I understand how everything works. And that's why you need Crushing Blow and open wounds. And then the third, of course, trifecta is the life tap, which basically gives you back life as you're hitting. So now Baal should be pretty easy. In fact, the only thing really hard as far as I'm concerned on Baal is the fact that he summons specters, which are physical immune. So if anything, it's just kind of annoying. And at this point, if you can't get out of this physical immune trap, basically, you can, if by running away, you can always just exit the game, and because you've made a game with a password, you can easily just rejoin. That's a good way to get in and out. Like right now, I don't have a problem. I can just walk away. The standard of heroes doesn't do anything, so nobody collects them. I mean, I think I have one in my stash just to say, yeah, I have. Not in this one, in a mule. But just to say, yeah, I've got one. But there's my charm. And I got another horny one. Seems to be the one I get quite often, actually. And I don't actually ID them, and I'm sorry for that. I usually trade them or sell them at this point because I don't need a torch. And that's all because of the D2 community. A lot of people, a lot of streamers are extremely generous. So I've been able to get torches that I needed. So I don't actually use these. I'll just trade or sell them. Or give away if someone needs it. So yeah, that's how you do the Ubers. With the right gear, it's super easy. There's other gear you can use. I have a Treachery here, and that's what I used to use all the time. I used to use a Seraph's Hymn Amulet instead of the High Lords. This is the weapon I used to use instead of Grief. And they all work. I even have used a Spirit shield instead of the Haws. I mean, obviously, the lower gear, I've used these Blood Gloves, which gives you open wounds and Crushing Blow. Well, so these give you Crushing Blow and Lifesteal. Use those, and then the Blood Belts. So that combo, they're super easy to get because you just need to get a belt, a magic belt, and magic heavy gloves, and you just use. So the gloves are a Neph, a ruby, and any jewel. The belt is a ruby, jewel, and Tal. I haven't done it in a long time. I believe it's Tal. Or Ral, maybe? One of those two, I think. and that will give you the open wounds. So it's really, really nice early game to get these blood belts. Because what we're doing here, I mean, we have on gores, we have the open wounds. So, and then of course the Dracula's grasp. But if you don't have those early game, you probably use a, I don't have them on here, but the Goblin Toe are super good boots without the open wounds. And then of course, like I said, these gloves are pretty easy to get. Those runes are easy. A perfect ruby's pretty easy to get. So early game, those are all really good. These are also really good gloves. Magna Skin for the 20 increased attack speed. Laying of Hands, a lot of people love because of the increased attack speed and the damaged demons. I only would use these personally if I was using a Exile. But with the Herald of Zakarum, I like to have these to proc the life tap. But Exile procs life tap, so I don't use both, and I don't have an Exile. But if I had Exile, I would probably be using the Laying of Hands. So those are all good gloves because they all do 20 IAS. These were probably I've made a lot of these gloves. I still have them just because they're the better ones that I had made for my Smiter. And that's a really good belt. It's got dual res, 20 to life, 18 to strength. It's a super good belt. So, of course, once you get T-Gods, you know. This one here, I'm going to make a COH. This was a gift, so I will give that back when I'm able to get a COH. Or gift it to someone if the person won't take it back. But yeah, this is what I'm waiting on to do a COH because I like the skin. Plus it's 12 ED. So here's my runes. I've got a Dol Ist. Just need the bear, of course. Everyone needs the bear. I have a Sur rune I found on a Countess run, and I have a couple Vex and a Mal. And so I'm just slowly trying to get up to the point where I can afford a bear so I can make that armor, and then I can give that back. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, I'll be posting this to YouTube as well. And you guys, if you have comments, you can make comments. Let me know what you guys think, if you have any things to add, or if you liked the video, if you can hear me, if the music was too loud or whatever, the game, let me know. And that's pretty much it. Have a good night, everybody. See ya.